Happy Saturday. Welcome to At Home with Music. I'm Leon Olguin. A while ago, I started a video series featuring female composers. I'd like to continue that series today as we take a brief look at the life and work of Fanny Mendelssohn. You may already recognize the name Mendelssohn since her brother was the famous composer Felix Mendelssohn. I think Fanny was a great composer in her own right, and that's why I want to talk a little bit about her today. I plan to continue this series on women composers every Saturday, so look for a new installment every Saturday morning. Be sure to like this video, by the way, and subscribe to the channel. And if there's a female composer from any musical era that you would like to see featured, let me know in the comments. Fanny Mendelssohn was born on November 14, 1805, in Hamburg, Germany. She was the eldest child of Abraham and Leah Mendelssohn. Abraham was a successful banker, and her mother, Leah, was a gifted pianist. When Napoleon's troops occupied Hamburg in 1811, the Jewish Mendelssohn family relocated to Berlin. And there, in 1816, Fanny and her younger brother Felix were baptized as Lutherans. Their father, Abraham, changed the family surname to Mendelssohn Bartholdy. He did that in order to play down their Jewish origins. Fanny wrote to Felix one time and said, "Bartholdy, that name which we all dislike." Fanny was taught to play the piano by her mother, who in turn had been taught by a student of Johann Sebastian Bach's. And so as a 14-year-old, she could already play all 24 preludes from Bach's The Well-Tempered Clavier. She was able to play it from memory alone, and she did so in honor of her father's birthday in 1819. Like her younger brother Felix, Fanny received extensive training in music theory and composition from an early age. And while her parents recognized her exceptional abilities and encouraged her musical pursuits, her father was tolerant rather than supportive of her musical talents. And in fact, he wrote to her in 1820, "Music will perhaps become his profession," that is Felix's profession, "while for you it can and must be only an ornament." In 1820, she and her brother Felix joined the Sing Academy in Berlin. Now, that's a music society, directed at the time by composer Carl Friedrich Zelter. Zelter was so impressed with Fanny that he wrote a letter to the author Goethe in which he said, "This child really is something special." Fanny shared a deep bond with her younger brother Felix, who himself, of course, became a renowned composer. And they embarked on a lifelong musical journey together, inspiring and supporting each other's artistic endeavors. They corresponded throughout their life about music. Fanny helped Felix by providing constructive criticism of pieces and projects that he was working on. And he, being very wise, always considered very carefully her criticism and her suggestions. In 1829, Fanny married the artist Wilhelm Hensel, and so she became Fanny Hensel. And she had her only child, Sebastian Ludwig Felix Hensel, the following year. Unlike her father, Wilhelm was supportive of his wife's musical life, and her music was often performed at a Sunday concert series at the Mendelssohn family home. And so at these Sunday concerts, Fanny's works were often played alongside her brother's. Fanny wrote some 460 pieces. She wrote piano trios, piano music, oratorios, chamber music. She also wrote many songs. In fact, it is believed by some musicologists that she actually invented the form that we know as songs without words, a form for which her brother Felix became justly famous, as he composed several collections of piano pieces under that particular name. Early on, some of Fanny's compositions were published under her brother's name, but by the mid-1840s, she informed her brother that she intended to begin publishing her music under her own name. And Felix, up to that time, had been somewhat opposed to this, finally decided, okay, that's what you want to do, go ahead and do it. Unfortunately, Fanny did not live a very long life. Around that time, mid-1840, she began to suffer nosebleeds and other symptoms, and then on May 16, 1847, she was rehearsing a performance of one of Felix's oratorios. She fell over and died of a stroke. Her brother Felix, of course, was crushed by her early death. He wrote his string quartet number 6 in her memory, and then he himself died 6 months later, also from a stroke. Much of Fanny's music remained unheard during her lifetime and unpublished. And it was only in the late 1900s that recordings brought evidence of her exceptional gifts as a composer to the general public. In fact, you can find a great deal of her music on YouTube. In fact, it's her music that you've been hearing in the background, and I will leave links in the description to more of her music. I encourage you to pursue it and listen to it. You'll find that it's very reminiscent of her brother's music, and I believe that her compositional gifts were equal to that of her more famous brother Felix. Her compositions are now celebrated and performed by musicians worldwide, thankfully now shedding light on the brilliance of a composer whose name was once overshadowed by her more famous brother. Sometimes I wish I had known about Fanny's music back when I was a student in college. I think it would have been very interesting and enlightening to feature the music of this very talented female composer. Thanks for watching. I hope you'll take some time to explore the music of Fanny Mendelssohn. You won't be disappointed. I look forward to speaking to you in the next one.